Brian, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. It's July 30th, 2020. And on my left is Commissioner Aaron Mays, who represents District 3, and on my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. I'm Bill Rippon, and I represent District 1.
Morning.
Good morning. What's first on the agenda?
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $1,658,595.93. The highlights out of the voucher report are the Capers contributions of $350,887.53, holding accounts with the state of Kansas for $231,832.08. Under building, we have $175,728.15. That was to Senny and Company for the Hillcrest Community Center remodeling. Under equipment, $161,501.65. That was for American Digital Security, primarily for the additional cameras at around the courthouse and security upgrades. We have our health insurance premiums of $142,287.57, and under Public Works, and it's a different several things. It's $135,103.37, and I don't have any questions and would move for approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
There are no correction orders today.
Okay, next item.
Item B, corrections number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-267-2020, memorandum of understanding with the City of Topeka to allocate $32,497 of the 2020 Burn Justice Assistant Grant funds to Shawnee County to be used to purchase ballistic vests for staff and cameras for the Corrections Annex.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is an ongoing relationship that we've had with both the City of Topeka and the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office, in that the City of Topeka applies for Burn JAG grant funds that allows us to go out and buy specific, does have specific guidelines. That Shawnee County splits this allotment or award with the City of Topeka, and typically in the years that the Shawnee County we get half, we split that with the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. We've had a very good working relationship with the Sheriff's Office, and where we've been every other year we've been, they take all of it for Shawnee County's share, and then each year. So this is the year that Shawnee County would have all of their share, the jail would get it. We plan to buy ballistic vests with this because they do get outdated and they expire, and we are looking at the renovation of some annex cameras to purchase them right now for some that have gone out. We recently we became aware of that the software, as we know, gets outdated as well, and that we're operating under the jail is under Windows 5. And so we're going to be looking at using this money to at least get to Windows 7, so where we can be updated in our Windows for the Department of Corrections. This is grant funds, and I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Did you say Windows 5?
Yes, that's right.
That's what I thought you said.
Yes.
Chairman? Brian, let's go a little bit farther with that. I mean, do we have any capacity issues, or do we have any issues functionality with the cameras with this? I mean, when you say Windows 5, it sounds like something from 1990, but maybe some context to it.
Well, the cameras that we have from the original, when the jail or the annex opened in 2008, But the system that we have certain cameras we just need to replace that they have just broken at the annex. So we want to look at replacing some of those. And we are working with Betty Greiner and Bill Kroll regarding the replacement and the upgrade at the annex, with it being melded in with the Shawnee County courthouse security. But when it comes to the annex, or the upgrade to the software, that's the software for the entire jail. And that in the middle of this, our company had indicated, said, Brian, do you realize that you guys are still operating under Windows 5 for all of your security in the jail? And we said no, and they said that that will no longer be able to find equipment or anything that even can help that maintain, and that we should be at least in Windows 6. That's probably gone, and then they said we should be at Windows 7. And that's just for the software for the entire jail.
So, putting this in the context of, I mean, Kurt Niehaus is sitting just adjacent to you. Kurt comes to us and talks to us about a bridge. He says the bridge is still safe to cross, but it's functionally obsolete. It's reached the end of its lifespan. For the public, does the public have any concerns regarding the cameras? I mean, are they still able to work?
Yes,
But
we-
they become functionally obsolete?
Yes, they, both. They are, number one, they do work. We can access the camera through a different number at the annex, but we do have some cameras that have just functionally obsolete, that have just broken.
Okay.
And so we are very safe. We still have all exits and mounting area, that these cameras are very good cameras in that they can see almost a mile away down to a license plate. But we're running into where we have to replace some cameras. So we do have some functionally obsolete cameras and some cameras that have just broken because of wear and tear, weather, things like that.
I mean, I guess my concern, just speaking very bluntly, is that our media partners might take and run, and the headline tonight at 5 o'clock is going to be, jail has software that is Windows 5.
Yes.
And if the public only sees that statement with nothing else, it's going to make the jail look like we are deficient.
Correct.
Two is the jail safe? Are we protecting our inmates? Are we protecting our staff? But we need to protecting our inmates? Are we protecting our staff? But we need to upgrade. We are aware that we need to upgrade the software.
Exactly. We are safe. We are at full capacity. We have access to every door, alarm, lock, and camera. We're just at the point now, we need to upgrade it. Probably should have happened a while back. And to be honest, the service provider we had, when we were in the middle of this, had just now brought it up.
Okay.
So we're fine. We're functional. We're good to go.
Again, I want to make
Sure.
sure that the media partners clarify, because I know that a lot of times somebody will just read a headline without the full context.
Mark Price, Shawnee County IT, and just to kind of reiterate that we are safe, those systems for the security are not on the regular county network. They're actually behind another firewall, separate from everything, so it's very isolated. So any risk that poses for security of a network computer side is contained within the firewalling of it also.
All right.
But we're safe. We just need to upgrade the software, and it's well due.
Mark, don't run off. So he's Brian here is talking about upgrading to my Windows 7 instead of 5. Is there a reason why we wouldn't just go to 10 and then be good for a longer amount of time?
I honestly wouldn't know. Because the way that system is a separate system from the actual county network and county, well, it's not a system that I support, so I'm not sure why they'd be going to 7 over another version. It could be one of those aspects of this is the minimum we need to get to, and maybe they could go to another higher version, and I'm more than happy to sit down. We can discuss with Sound Products, I'm assuming, and see if that's what we need to do in this situation, or
I would
what's the
appreciate
best.
if you could do that. Just make sure we get something that's going to last a while.
Yeah, and Mark made a good point. This may be, I didn't speak directly with Sound Products. Sound Products may have said it's time to at least at a minimum. We believe this cost would be close to about $25,000, and this grant would be about $32,000. So I'm confident that if we were to say, hey, look, let's go to the highest level of capacity, that maybe we would still have the funds to be able to do that within this JAG grant.
Okay.
And I'm more than happy to get that communication going.
Okay. I'd move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Thank you.
Item C, Health Department, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-268-2020, renewal of the Regional Public Health Emergency Preparedness Agreement with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for grant funding in the amount of $37,487 to be received by the Northeast Corner Regionalization Initiative for the period of July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2021, with Shawnee County continuing to serve as the fiscal agent.
Good morning, Commissioners. Craig Barnes, Health Department. The item you have in front of you is just a renewal of our Regional Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant. This is the last of our aid to local grants that you all approved back on July 20th. This grant itself, we serve as the fiscal manager for the NCRI region, or the Northeast Corner Regionalization Initiative. That includes 8 counties of Atchison, Brown, Doniphan, Jackson, Jefferson, Marshall, Nemaha, as well as 40% of that dollar goes to the funding of our EPCO specialist, or our regional coordinator, who operates and kind of helps facilitate that those regional partners. There's no additional cost to Shawnee County. Examples of what we've used the money for in the past has been to purchase regional assets like our port account, which has been very useful during this COVID response, because it is what we use with our partners in the community to do fit testing. So those individuals, whether it be long-term care facilities or other partners who need to be fit tested for N95 masks, we have that that we can use and deploy here in Shawnee County, as well with our regional partners in those smaller local health departments that have much smaller FTE than what we do. So any questions that you have for me today?
Any questions? I'd move for approval.
Second?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item C2, consider authorization and execute with Cascade Health Services to provide RNs and LPNs for COVID-19 response testing and administering flu vaccinations at an estimated cost of $80,000 to be paid by COVID-19 grant funds, and approval to waive the purchasing policy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Craig Barnes, Health Department again. As you see here, this is an agreement that we would like to enter into with Cascade Health Services. Cascade Health Services did have a state contract that we looked at to provide these services. However, we were able to obtain a lower rate than what the state contract is. That's why we're asking for the permission to waive the purchasing policy and save some dollars that way. What we're looking at here specifically to provide some additional medical staff. We have a lot of medical staff that are volunteers at our testing location that will be returning to their regular jobs. So this contract here would allow us to maintain the services we're offering in our testing location now, as well as hopefully in the future be able to expand as we anticipate with schools reopening the potential for needing new and more testing opportunities. So we would be looking at that, as well as you see in the memo there, we do have a staff person here at the Health Department that is serving as our kind of liaison with the long-term care facilities. We want to maintain that relationship. It's very important that we make sure that we are having open lines of communication with our populations that are the most vulnerable. So we don't, and a lot of our staff is going to need to start moving back into their normal job duties. So this would help us really be able to flush out and offer some more support as well to those long-term care facilities. The last piece that would also assist with would be, as we're getting into the flu season, is so to administer some additional flu shots. Our focus as the Health Department has always been to focus on those vulnerable populations in our community, so specifically those uninsured. There are so many private providers that can offer to those individuals who do have insurance. So again, we're looking at how we would stand up our points of dispensing to offer mobile vaccination clinics or clinics in brick and mortar buildings throughout our community to address the community's need as it comes to flu shots. So about 80 to 90% of this would be focused on about COVID, 10 to 20% on flu. Anything that is COVID related, we would be able to be paid out of COVID-19 grant funds. The flu related costs would be paid out of our operating budget. With that, I'd stand for any questions that you might have.
Craig, how many people are we testing a day now?
Testing a day, so we stand up two, are you talking about just the health department, or are you talking about in
health
general?
department.
So the health department, we stand up two dates this day, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. Last week, for example, we tested 41 between those 2 days, but we had a kind of a weather issue, so we had some no calls. The week before that, we tested 71, and that was the end, kind of the peak right now of what we had for a constant increase in testing at those 2 days, the 3 weeks prior. This week, again, we ran into some weather issues, which is we're kind of looking at some alternative locations in the future, but we're also working with some strategic partners to see how we can buff up or work with them to offer some more testing services as well.
Are you only testing people who have symptoms at this point?
That is correct. So we test people who have 2 or more symptoms. We follow the guidance that we receive from KDHE because we get the specimen collection kits directly from KDHE in their laboratories at Cahill. And to do that and to offer this service free to those who are uninsured and underinsured, we have to get those directly from them, and so we have to follow their guidance, which is the 2 symptoms.
Okay, what's the latest flu that we're dealing with? What's,
The latest flu.
well, you said flu shots doing,
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head what strains they've been identifying that will be in the vaccine for this year, but I'd be more than happy to look it up.
okay, that's fine. All right. Any other questions?
No, I'll move for approval and waiving of the purchasing policy.
I'll second that.
All right. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you very much.
Next item.
Item D, Public Works, number 1, consider awarding the bid to Bettis Asphalt and Construction, Inc. For contract road maintenance of a section of Southwest Wanamaker Road from Southwest 47th Street south, a distance of 1,835 linear feet at a cost of $116,380, utilizing the Public Works Special Highway Improvement Funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Here approximately a month ago, we completed a quick mill and inlay on Croco Road between 21st Street and 29th. I considered it such a success that I would like to do a section on Wanamaker Road. On the Croco Road project, we had the benefit, it was catty corner to our Southeast 29th Street project. So we paid for that as a change order of our Southeast 29th Street project. Here, this section of Wanamaker Road is not near a project that we have ongoing. So working with the county councilor and Betty Greiner, we've had to think of a different way to get this project approved and moving forward. And the reason that I'm kind of in a toot to get this work done is, number one, I'm trying to take advantage of the favorable asphalt prices that we're seeing. I will be honest with you, prices have been stable, but of course I don't know what's going to happen next month. Number two, I'd like to get this segment done before school starts. Now I understand school may be delayed a bit, but nevertheless, I'd like to get this work done before school starts. And number three, I'd like to get this work done so that it does not compete with asphalt work on our Southeast 29th Street project. So those are the key reasons that I'm kind of pushing this through. And as you'll see, the recommendation from the county councilor and Betty was to pursue phone bids, informal phone bids. This deviates from our purchasing policy because obviously the project cost is greater than $10,000. Now on to the pictures. The pictures, I've just brought those up just to give you an idea of where this project is. I think this is the Washburn Rural Administrative Offices.
Jay Scheidler.
Jay Scheidler, okay, thank you. And this joint right here is the beginning, the south end of our project. Runs all the way across here. Now notice if we go south of that joint, we have these just terrible longitudinal joints here that do not line up with the lane lines and in fact are in the wheel paths. That's another issue for another day. Our project starts right here at the joint and goes north, and I think you can see it's time to mill the surface out, 2-inch mill, and put a 2-inch mat of new asphalt down. So that's why I'm here before you. Number one, I'd like to deviate from the purchasing policy. We have received 2 bids. We reached out to three vendors and got 2 bids. They are competitive bids. And so number one, I'd like you to approve the deviation from the purchasing policy. And number 2, I would like you to approve the lowest bid submitted by Bettis Asphalt and Construction. Questions?
Mr. Chairman, go ahead, Commissioner Mays.
Well, Kurt, I actually drove this morning, and as I was driving it, thought, man, we really need to do something about this sometime soon, because it's looking pretty bad. Because a lot of times people are avoiding this long crack and driving kind of in the turning lane as a driving lane right now, and with the road narrowing there. But this isn't just a county problem. This goes all the way to 41st Street and then even beyond a little bit. And the city's done kind of a patch job from 37th to 41st. Can you tell me, like, what's the northern edge of our responsibility?
The northern edge is approximately 42nd Street. Now, our work here on this segment will only go to approximately 47th Street. But if you go north of 47th, just like south that I showed you, just like south, the pavement improves significantly. We still have these issues with the longitudinal joints, and I do slap the hand of those that were responsible for that. But nevertheless, if you look at that pavement to the south, it is in better shape than this segment that we wish to address now.
If I may, when we do this project, is anything done under the 2 inches to prevent those cracks from coming back soon?
The cracks came because when they placed the asphalt, the machine, the edge of the asphalt mat was where you're seeing these joints. What we did on Croco Road is what we should have been doing for a long time. The edge of the mat lines up with the lane line, or it's at the center of the chicken lane.
Right.
This can be a safety issue because if you have wet pavement at night, sometimes motorists will mistake this longitudinal joint for a lane line. And number 2, the weakest part of your mat is at the joints. And if it's in a wheel path, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Okay, but no full depth patch?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, good.
We have found when we mill 2 inches off, the underlying asphalt is in good shape.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Cook?
When we talked about the longitudinal line, and ultimately your goal is to maybe fix that or change it.
Yes, sir.
We spend $116,000 to do a 2-inch mill and overlay.
Mm-hmm.
At what point would you be coming back to address and fix that line?
Well, I hate to spend money at this point when we have needs all over the county. I hate to spend money at this point just to fix the longitudinal issue because our maintenance people, they can do a pretty good job of filling in that joint and continuing to allow that pavement to serve the public. But what we're seeing in this bad segment, we have a whole host of problems. We have the longitudinal joints. We have structural cracking.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you look over to the extreme left edge of the photo, the dark lines there are where our road maintenance people have come in and sealed those cracks. But you can see over on the left edge of the photo there, more cracks are developing. These are what we call structural cracking. And the only way to fix those, short of sealing them, is mill it out and put something new back.
By doing the 2-inch mill and overlay, we're extending the lifespan of the road by at least another 5 to 6 years?
Well, this pavement right here was placed in 2006 or 7, so it's could be 13, 14 years old.
So-
That's a pretty good value. If we can get that life out of our overlay, I'd say we're getting pretty good value for the taxpayers of Shawnee County.
So, to address that longitudinal line, it'll be another 12 to 13 years before, I mean, because you're going to want to get the maximum lifespan out of the 2-inch mill and overlay.
Again, in other places where we have just kind of the longitudinal joint, I'm not prepared to spend money at this time with a mill and inlay just to get rid of the longitudinal joint. Do I like the longitudinal joints? I think it's clear I hate them. It's wrong. It's not a good thing. But I'm not willing to spend money when we have needs all over the county just to remove the longitudinal joints. Again, here in this segment, we have many more problems than just the longitudinal joint.
But for those people that are traveling up and down Wanamaker, for this stretch of 1,835 feet, we will not be coming back, most likely, knock on wood, for another 10 years.
I would say yes, that's correct, and at least that's what we hope,
Okay.
yes.
How long do you think it take to complete this project once you start?
Well, remember Croco Road, which was significantly larger, took 5 days. I'm hoping Bettis, who is the preferred vendor here, will come in and do an equivalent quick job of it.
Any other questions?
Yeah, real quick, have we talked with the rural water district at all to make sure they know this is coming?
No, but we can. I think the impact to the rural water district is going to be so minimal that that I don't think it'll be, they'll hardly know the work's going on, and the contractor, when they're working in front of their driveway, will accommodate the needs of
Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions?
I would move for approval and waiving of the purchasing policy.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Kurt.
Item E, Facilities Maintenance, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-270-2020, amendment to contract C-197-2020 with Interstate Elevator for the modernization of the Corrections Department elevator at the courthouse per RFQ number 039-20 to include emergency modernization of 3 passenger elevators at a cost of $532,437, utilizing 2020 contingency funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. Just a few weeks ago, you guys approved the modernization of the inmate elevator with Interstate Elevator. At that time, well, shortly after that time, all 3 of our main passenger elevators went down. They are of the same vintage and age as the inmate elevator, but they're the ones that move the passenger traffic through this building. It's, we got to have them. And even this morning, another one of them went down. We got 2 of them running, and now we're down to 1 again. So this particular contract amends the contract with Interstate to expand it into the 3 passenger elevators. We had one other price that came in from our current elevator contractor who does the maintenance on them, MEI. It was about $140,000 more than what Interstate has quoted us. So, answer any questions you guys might have.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So unlike the software that's functionally obsolete, these elevators are actually obsolete.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And the problem, we just cannot get parts for them anymore at all. So one of the goals that we would have, and we visited with both MEI and Interstate on this, is to definitely keep one elevator running. We would be able to cannibalize some parts if we needed them from the ones that we're trying to modernize, and it'll be kind of a staged modernization, so we'll do one, another, and then another, and have parts if we need them to keep those other ones going, because right now there is no parts for them.
And for the public, we did discuss this during the budget presentation for
Yes.
facilities management, which is recorded online, so if anybody does want to go back and get more information, that was discussed, and it is recorded.
Yeah.
And you're going to ask to use contingency funds because this is an emergency that's stepped up.
It's an emergency purchase. We had tried to get it into the capital improvement plans over the last few years, and it always kind of fell off the wayside, and now's the time. We're pushed to a point we don't have a choice.
And we've talked to the courts about the impact on them.
Yep, Betty visited with them again this morning to tell them, hey, we got it on the agenda, and they're delighted to hear that because we do have ADA people that need those elevators to get to the various floors of this building. So it's really a critical issue for us.
Bill, will these be new motors for all 3?
There'll be all new electric motors, everything but the main lift part, which is basically the pulley that the motor's attached to, which we've had an engineer look at those, and they're convinced that they're in good shape. It's mostly the electronic components that are causing all the problems with it, from the motors into the relays and things like that. And as we've gone into solid state stuff, And when the original elevators were in, they were modernized about 30 years ago, after they hit their 30th birthday. The old mechanical relays definitely held up better. As you go more and more solid state, you go from a wall of relays bigger than the wall behind you guys to a box this big, but if one little microchip in there decides to bite the dust, you're buying a whole new box. There's no more boxes like that available, is where we've kind of got to. So, it gets smaller and smaller, but then you buy more and more at a bigger expense when you get it. So instead of buying one big mechanical relay that we might be hanging up, you're having to buy the entire box. So technology's good and it's bad at the same time.
Any other
But it's
questions?
definitely expensive.
Any other questions? I'd move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next
Thank
item.
you.
Thank you, Bill.
Item F, Information Technology. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C271-2020 with Network Computing Solutions for renewal of the annual VMware licensing agreement, reference contract C381-2019, which allows us to run multiple virtual servers on the same physical server at a cost of $24,664 with funding from the department budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Price, Information Technology again. As Cindy so eloquently put it, this is just our annual renewal for VMware. It serves quite a few of our departments and some very important functions, and it is contained in our 2020 budget.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Okay, at this time, we'll allow anyone from the public or from our different departments to give us any announcements they need to give.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I just want to remind the public that our public hearing for the 2021 budget will be Monday evening at 5:30 here in the Commission chambers.
Thank you, Betty.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. Just like to remind the public that this weekend, or this Saturday specifically, August 1st, will be our August Saturday collection event at Household Hazardous Waste. They'll be open from 9 a.m. till noon. They accept all household hazardous waste as well as electronic waste free of charge, the only exception being CRT TVs or old computer monitors. The address is 131 Northeast 46th Street. And for more information, they can call the Household Hazardous Waste Facility at 286-4381. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Bill.
Something not COVID related. So, and I know Commissioner Rippon's favorite thing, mosquitoes.
Yes.
So, just a reminder that we are in the midst of the mosquito surveillance season here at the Health Department and here in Shawnee County. Just a reminder to the public that we do have mosquito dunks available at the Health Department for the public to pick up, to use in areas where they're unable to dump water, so standing water. We've had a lot of rain here recently, so there's going to be a lot of standing water, and I think that anybody who's been outside for any long period of time has realized that mosquitoes are out there right now. So I would encourage anybody from the public to stop by the Health Department and pick up a mosquito dunk. We have them available there. In addition to that, every Friday, again, is dump day, so we encourage the public to get out, dump standing water. That would be dog food bowls, dog water bowls that are out, the water collection basins that are underneath plants and the like, pools, little kids swimming pools and things of that sort. So if there's standing water, we encourage folks to dump them. That way, we're eliminating the places where mosquitoes can breed. So, thank you. Question?
Greg, at what point do we get the results of the mosquito testing?
Yeah, so we are in the midst of the mosquito surveillance. It started at the beginning of July. We're a little bit behind with just the COVID response and getting all of the data tabulated, but we put our traps out every week. So we put them out on Mondays, collect the traps again on Tuesdays, send that off to the Kansas Biological Survey for analysis of what the mosquitoes are there and the total numbers, and then that number is sent back to us. So we're a little bit backlogged. I'm hoping to have a graph and everything for you guys here very soon that we'll be able to share.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do we check for mosquitoes at the lake and Gage Park?
So we have 5 trap locations that we don't share so that they're not, can't be tampered with or messed with. Off the top of my head, I don't believe that we have a trap in the Gage Park location. We used to, but it kept getting messed with, and so our numbers were never reliable there. I do believe that there is a trap out by Lake Shawnee in a watershed that's out there, but I will confirm the locations for you and at least share it with you for sure.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Aaron Mangan, Shawnee County Emergency Management. Just to touch a little bit more on standing water. You're all aware of the weather we've had. There is still quite a bit of water out there. Fortunately, after yesterday's flash flooding event in the city and Shawnee County, it did clear out fairly quickly. However, we had a huge amount of rain, matter of fact, 2.53 inches in about an hour, and there was just nowhere for that water to go in a hurry. However, like I said, it did drain out fairly quickly. Part of the EM staff was out mobile most of yesterday evening, checking a lot of the spots we know flood all the time. We are expecting more rainfall today. There's a 60% chance this afternoon, and then potential severe thunderstorms this afternoon between 6 and 10, and some more after 10 o'clock this evening. We are expecting more flash flooding. However, we hope it's not as bad as it was yesterday. But once again, all we can do is stand by and watch. I would stress again, I know we say it a lot, but please do not drive through flooded water. Turn around, don't drown. There can be obstructions under the water that you're not aware of, that you potentially hit with your vehicle and become stuck in the water. And if there's any disruption of the pavement or washing out of the pavement, you could become stuck, and that not only puts other bystanders in danger, but also our first responders and people that might have to come out and rescue you. Also, as a side note, they have extended, the National Weather Service has extended our flood watch, flash flood watch until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So please be prepared if you do have travel plans and you're out and about.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak at this time? All right. What else do we have? Executive session? We have no need for executive session, so we are adjourned.